Empire Issue 6 finds Reed suiting up in his new armor, telling Tony they have two serious problems, the first being the Kotati Death Blossom that is growing in the vibranium-rich soil of Wakanda, a nation who is currently leaderless thanks to Black Panther going off comms, and the Kree Skrull Pyre, which will blow up the sun and destroy everything in the solar system. Tony is well aware of these problems, knowing that they are wasting time talking, but he knows that since there are two of them, they can solve both problems. Tony tells Reed to go to Wakanda and stop the Blossom while he fixes the sun, but Reed knows that since the moon, Tony has been acting not like Tony Stark, seeming lost and blaming himself for what happened. Tony says he blames himself because he makes mistakes and he gets people killed, and then karma repays him again and again with crap equipment and a ticking clock. Tony says that Reed doesn't think he's acting like Tony Stark, but he's got a cave of scraps and a ticking clock, and this is the only place he has ever really been Tony Stark. Armoring up, Reed knows that Tony has got this, but wants to know what his plan exactly is. Tony says he's going to do what he usually does, and he's going to put the sun in a suit. In New York, the Fantastic Four battle the Dark Harvest, who have kidnapped both of the Kree Skrull children, using their combined histories of the Omniwave projector to broadcast their races' hatred for one another into the cosmos. The projector activates and fires a beam into space, and the power from the beam causes the Kree and Skrulls to fight one another yet again in the streets of Earth. As on the Kree Skrull command ship, the Royal Court begin feeling the beam's effects, causing Captain Glory and the Super Skrull to fight, making Glory admit to knowing that the Emperor was really a fake all along. Carol's hammer caught the lie as well, confirming that it was indeed real, as the Kree half of her feels the beam's effects as well, wanting to join in on the fight. Hulkling also feels it, but thanks to his inhibitor mask, it's blocking the Skrull side of him. Teddy hopes that thanks to Johnny and Carol's powers, they can tame the exploding sun, but Johnny is unsure of doing something that big. Carol knows that the sun is millions of miles away, and how the hell are they going to get there in time, but Wiccan knows that he could maybe take them all there, but it will be hard with all four of them. Teddy, however, says that it will only be the three of them, since he is needed there, since after all, he's king. Wiccan transports Carol, Johnny, and himself to the sun, shielding himself from the sun's heat and fire. Johnny asks why Wiccan, since he's so powerful, can't just do this himself, but Billy knows it doesn't work like that, and there are limits. Johnny is worried that he'll screw up, wishing his family was there, but Carol tells him they are, since once he was an Avenger, he's always an Avenger, and they are all family. Because of that, Johnny knows he can do that, as Wiccan calls for the Avengers to assemble. In Wakanda, Susan, Ben, and Mantis battle the Kotati She-Hulk, knowing they need to work together in order to free Ben from its grasp. The Kotati easily beats back the heroes, as Susan tells Mantis to use her powers on her to block her pain and body's warning systems, so she can see how hard she can push her body while under her powers. Wolverine meanwhile calls for the Dark Harvest priest to stop the projector, but he says it cannot be stopped and will not stop until all Kree and Skrull forces are dead. Val knows that it's up to the two children, telling them that they fought in the arena, fighting and refighting every battle in the Kree-Skrull war history. Ben meanwhile continues to bleed out from his wounds as Sue and Mantis combine their powers, pushing against the Kotati, She-Hulk, and freeing Ben. Val reminds the children that the only thing that stayed a constant in the wars that they fought is just one single person, and all of the universe was going through the same thing as each of them. As Ben tries to bring back the Jennifer side of She-Hulk, Jovan and Nakarla unite their histories together, funneling the power into the projector and causing all Kree and Skrulls to stop fighting. Ben's words to She-Hulk manage to work, bringing back Jennifer and reverting her back to her She-Hulk self. She-Hulk says that she saw a door when she came back, but it doesn't matter now since She-Hulk is ready to fight on. On the flagship, Empress Raquel and the others come back to normal. The Empress knows that now the Kree and Skrulls are destined to be united under her strong leadership, but Captain Glory says that he's done with the Empress's intrigue, saying that he wanted the war back, but he knows now that there are other things he lives for. The Empress expected his betrayal, but not weakness. The real Hulkling suddenly traps Glory, Super Skrull, and Empress, telling Mergen to teleport Glory and the Skrull to Wiccan since they will need their help, while the king decides to have a conversation with his grandmother about power and responsibility of a king. In Wakanda, Swordsman and Kui are confronted by Black Panther, who is alive and well. Swordsman demands to know how he's alive, but T'Challa says that he is the king of the dead, and more than that, he is a master of shadow combat, a technique that allowed him to slow his heartbeat and reduce his blood loss until his royal armor healed him. The king battles Swordsman with the Star Sword as Kui says that it won't save the hero when the heart-shaped herb in his blood comes under his control after the Death Blossom blooms. The armored Mr. Fantastic appears, blasting his specialized sonic frequencies at the Messiah and the Death Blossom, which while won't block the villain's control over plants, it will add some noise to the signal and distract them. Kui is angered, grabbing his two swords and attacking the hero, telling him that he has brought his heaven to earth, and what words will Mr. Fantastic use to take back the world? Reed calls for the Avengers to assemble as hundreds of heroes, along with the Kree-Skrull Alliance, arrive. Captain America addresses Sequoia, ordering him on behalf of the gathered forces to stand down. Steve says that he has had a long day and doesn't want to tell the boy again. Tony meanwhile tells Carol his plan, saying that the pyre teleports dense elements like iron into the sun's core, using it to destabilize it. So therefore he will use the Avengers Mountain to teleport in their solution, Reed Richards' Fantastic Four suit, which is made from an unstable molecule designed to adapt to anything, including supernova heat. Glory, Super Skrull, and Mergen join Carol and the others, saying together they can give the heroes the power to stop the pyre. Tony programs the nanomachines in the suit to attack the iron that the pyre would have teleported in, since if they get rid of the iron, then they get rid of the problem. The plan works and Johnny can feel the sun beginning to cool back down to its normal temperatures. The Empress finds the pyre has failed, angering her so much that she reverts back to her original form, saying Hulkling could have had 1,000 worlds and she risked everything for the boy to continue the bloodline, attacking her grandson and knocking his inhibitor mask off. Not wasting time, Hulkling shoves the mask onto his grandmother, inhibiting her power and locking her into it. Teddy says that she could have still won this war, but she lashed out and gave him an advantage, and in response, Teddy decided to show restraint, capturing his grandmother and telling her that leadership isn't cruelty or committing violence against one's own people to show strength. He asks her if she knows what does show strength, saying that it's working to lift the people up and fighting to make things better for as long as the fight goes on. On Earth, the Avengers battle the Kotati as Sequoia calls them all fools, since this is the Kotati's world now. The arriving Thor begs to differ, knowing that he learned the wrong lessons from the wrong teachers, since he lusts for revenge and because of it has become a conqueror, but Thor is a child of the world, calling himself Thor the Gaia son, and he has quested long to learn his mother's will, not happy with people like Sequoia who would take her life-giving bounty and use it to take life. Thor unleashes his newfound Gaia power, revoking all of Sequoia's plant power. Swordsman tells his son to take no notice of the god, for the boy is a messiah and the Death Blossom still grows. Black Panther takes Swordsman by surprise, stabbing him with the sword while telling the man that he filled himself with his own self-hate and it corrupted him and his son. Swordsman says that he killed T'Challa once before, but T'Challa says that that one time was just a misfortune and twice is carelessness, and he's not one to be careless. T'Challa slashes Swordsman across the face as his son comes to his aid, but the man takes Sequoia hostage, demanding the boy defend his father, telling T'Challa that if he comes any closer, he will kill his son. The Kotati watch Swordsman commit the highest sacrilege as T'Challa says that this is an odd gambit for the man to play since the boy killed Wakandans, and what makes him think he won't just kill Sequoia. Jacques says that T'Challa is soft though and they can end it all here since he is Jacques Duquesne, the filthy human. T'Challa finds that strange since all he sees is a plant, a poison vine that smothers the good oak tree. The hero says that he knew Jacques and he was human, so human that it killed him, but when he died an Avenger. T'Challa attacks, stabbing Swordsman, pinning him to the Death Blossom, which thanks to the Star Sword piercing the shell of, is destroyed, ending the Kotati attack along with Swordsman. Later on, the Avengers discuss the Death Blossom still on the moon, however Reed says he got a message from the X-Men, who have weeded the garden there on the moon. Steve knows that that ends the Kotati's final plan, but he still thinks that they struck the final nail as Sequoia resigns himself to defeat, met by his mother who hopes now he sees how wrong his path was. The boy does, knowing perhaps his path was corrupted by humanity, but he knows it wasn't wrong, since the world is still burning, the skies aren't clean, and the animals are still eaten. He knows those said animals call for justice, and he knows knows that he was being just. As he is taken away by Thor and She-Hulk, he knows Earth's heroes must be tamed, but Mantis knows that he has no idea what he's saying since he's just a child. But Sequoia knows he's more than that, and he's a messiah. Tony isn't too impressed with the future of the Kotati in him, but Steve tells him the Kotati are now willing to see sense since they are all surrendering peacefully around the Earth, and even the Kree-Skrull Alliance have a newfound respect for humans. Sue thinks that they should be reassured by that, but Reed knows that the Alliance is a seismic change to the galactic political scene, and Earth is now at the epicenter, whether they are ready or not, and they are about to enter a new age of space. T'Challa knows that others hold the future in their hands as the Star Sword goes back to Hulkling, who celebrates the victory with the Kree-Skrull Alliance and Wiccan. Empire issue 6 was a fun, if not a little rushed ending to Marvel's big summer cosmic event. I enjoyed seeing all of the Avengers assemble together across the multiple pages here for the final push against Swordsman and Sequoia, but a lot of it feels like it was just kind of glossed over or it was cut down. Like Tony and Reed's plans just explained in one page and then almost immediately in the next page were successful. Thor also getting kind of the winning blow in the war is really strange since they cancelled his tie-in, yet it seems to be one of the more important ones to the story since he just shows up at the 11th hour with the power of Mother Earth imbued into his hammer. That's not something you should really gloss over, especially in a story that concerns, plant life and nature and everything. I would have thought they would have kept that in. I enjoy that Jovan and Nakala, the Kree-Skrull children, got to fill an important role here at the end by reuniting the races. Again, hammering home the whole children are the future message the book has had with all of the different races and their children like Sequoia and Hulkling all sort of taking center stage here. We still have a few tie-ins that deal with the fallout of these events since I'm sure there's going to be some quite big changes. So I'm looking forward to more Emperor Hulkling as well as Captain Marvel, who as of the end of this issue has the universal weapon still, so wondering if that might be where her character is going. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10.